I know, right? 3 days in a row? Such a blessing. Now. So I was laying in bed last night next to my darling bride and was like, I want to do a fun video like in the old days when it was a conversation, some topic that you and I would chat about in the comments and have a good old time, and haven't done that in a while. That it frickin' came to me. Something that we as bikers are incredibly underserved in, and that's media. So I want to talk about movie motorcycles. Go ahead. Google movie cars. I'll wait. There's a trillion of them. I got from TV to everything. I think the Dragula car from the Munsters. There's a billion freaking cars we all love. Some cars are actually in the same movies these motorcycles are in, but there's just not a lot of famous movie motorcycles. It's ridiculous. I couldn't even come up with 10. I only got to 6 before I was like, man, the others are all overdone. So I wanted to jump on here and record a video about my favorite movie motorcycles, and I thought it'd be freaking blast just to watch the comment section of who people think that I'm wrong or they've got different ones. Whatever, that's fun. I want to see all that stuff. So start commenting now what your favorite movie motorcycle is, because I think there's a lot of good conversation we can have about that. Couple little notes here. There were some exclusions that I did to my list. Again, of actually there's 6. I just thought of another one. So let's call it 7 movie motorcycles. I excluded Easy Riders. First off, somebody's yelling at the TV right now. It's okay. We're going to get through this together. I know you're having some big feelings right now. Easy Riders is overdone. It's the penultimate frickin' top of the line movie about motorcycles. It's the one we all know, and those bikes are famous. And I'm just not going to put it on this list. Also, my opinions are somewhat controversial. I don't like Captain America. I said it. I don't like the taillights. I think that's just not my style. Sissy bar, even for me, I look at the tall sissy bar that's on the Beautiful Loser. It's too tall. I'm just not a Captain America fan. I am team Billy Bike. The Billy Bike, whoa, that's phenomenal. That's a whole video just on why the Billy Bike is better than Captain America. But I digress. Billy Bike's better, but we're not going to talk about Easy Riders. They're overdone. I have notes off camera. I'm cheating. Harley Davidson, the Marlboro Man. We're not going to talk about Mickey Rourke's FXR. Also, just a little overdone. People have talked about it forever. What is that bike? It's a raked, I think it's probably 4, man, I'm looking at my forks, maybe 6 over front end on an FXR that's been hardtail. When I say hardtail, the shocks were taken off, and I'll put a picture. They just stuck a rod where the shocks go. Swing arm is still there. It's a very cool bike. The paint's, legendary and iconic, but it's just not. It's been overdone, so I'm not going to put that on my list. I'm sorry. So, another thing we're not going to talk about, Sons of Anarchy. A, that's TV, not movie, and I was focusing on movies. And B, those are bikes any of us could have owned. There's nothing, how many Black Dynas can be? Wow, the coolest thing ever. I'm just not going to talk about Sons of Anarchy like that. I didn't watch the show, but those bikes are just kind of commonplace. So, try to avoid things that you or I probably owned, So let's start. My list might be a little weird. A lot of it comes from my childhood. As y'all know, I grew up on the back of my dad's bike, so motorcycles we've been a member of this cult for a very long time, so my selection might be a little weird and influenced by my upbringing. But the first one, I had to make notes here, actually what it is. The bike itself is amazing, but heavily modified. And from Never Say Never Again, yeah, a heavily modded, turbocharged Yamaha Seca 650. So that's the black bike that Sean Connery rode, Never Say Never Again. And a beast of a stunt rider who went up and down stairwells and slid that sucker sideways, and I think launched it out of the back of a truck. I might try and put some of the stuff on the screens, what I'm talking about. Freaking cool-ass bike. And it had rocket launchers. And I'm pretty sure all of us would like to have rocket launchers on our motorcycles to just blow up the freaking cars in front of us on the highway. And also had a turbo boost for a jump car. I know it's fiction. I'm just saying it was cool. And it had something kind of strange. It had guards that would come down over the front rear tire. You'd press a button and they would chink, they'd come down. Why aren't they always down? Why do you need to deploy them? I just think, something that can break will break. But just a thought there. Never Say Never Again, Yamaha Seca. Cool as hell bike. And right after crashing it, he blows a chick up with a pin. That's cool. Number 2. only in the movie for a few seconds, but even as a kid, I remember this like sticking with me. And that is, I think it's a lowrider sport that Sylvester Stallone rides in Cobra at the end. After the big fight scene, I did a little research. I think can't see it very well in the video. It's an 86, so it's got, 1986 when they made the movie, so it's got to be an FXR. He steals the bike at the end of the movie. Like, he kills all the cult members, and then just like, as a police officer surrounded by cops, he just grabs Brigitte Nielsen and just rides off on a motorcycle of one of the victims. They would, he took everybody out, and then he just stole their motorcycle, and everyone was fine with that. And that just stuck with me even as a kid. Like, I'm pretty sure there needs to be a process. No, whatever. They wrecked his car, so that little rider sport. Number 3 is actually pretty funny also. The Great Escape. 1961 Triumph Trophy, painted green. Now it's German. No. That's just, as a kid, I was like, that's a parallel twin. Wouldn't it have been a boxer? Like, it's a Triumph. They painted green. And not only that, total brain shutdown. Hang on. The second I hit stop. Steve McQueen, for the love of God, Steve McQueen takes a British bike, paints it green, and somehow rides from central Germany to the Alps in 30 minutes. Like, I don't know if you've been to Europe. It's far. That doesn't work that way. Everyone else is taken out. He's already at the border, and then jumps a tank trap. Eventually gets caught anyway. But anyway, that Triumph Trophy, painted green, just an iconic bike. Amazing and hilarious because it's not German. But whatever. Another one. This one I liked a lot, even though I'm not a sport bike guy, because you could actually buy it, or at least a tribute to it. Ducati, when the Matrix came out, they had the 998. That was it was actually a super dark green. That I can't remember the actress's name. I'm sure it's all CGI and green screen, of course, and all that stuff. But they launch it off a car hauler. Someone wove through oncoming traffic. That was done. I'm sure not her, but insurance doesn't allow those things. But yeah, so that 998 was badass because the color was really cool. It was like a black green. It was so dark, and they sold it. You could actually buy Matrix Edition bikes. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it wasn't even just the 998. I think they made a monster also. It was that super dark green. It had like the digital ones and zeros kind of hidden in the paint. It was a neat bike you'd actually buy. So that one stuck with me. And when I was just about able to buy new motorcycles, it was out, and that was actually one on my potential list. I was younger and thinner, so Ducati was an option. Not today. You're gonna make fun of the next one. I'm okay with it, but you're gonna make fun of it. Somehow, in the very early 80s, a man wore a lace shirt on a purple Honda and made it badass. I'm not sure how that happened, but he did it. And yes, Prince in Purple Rain, I'm sure there's pictures on the screen right now, made that look tough. I don't know how, but that bike is in fact a 1981 400cc Hondamatic with an aftermarket fairing on it. It's a Windjammer or a Vetter or something like that. So everyone thinks it's a Goldwing. It's not a Goldwing. It's a 400cc Hondamatic with a fairing on it. And it's purple. And he was wearing lace, and somehow that was tough. Like, today I was before I started recording this, I was downloading pictures, and I was laughing, going like, how was that ever badass? But it was a purple Honda 400 Hondamatic, badass in 1981. Somehow today, not so tough. But think of showing up to that on bike night. Go to a bike night on like a 400cc Hondamatic with fairing, wearing lace. Like, I don't think it would go well. But do it. I'm not gonna do it. It's because of my weight. I'm too big for a 400. Anyway, the next one's a Terminator bike, and it's not the Fat Boy. The Fat Boy, of course, was cool. That was a marketing stunt where they jumped it, and Terminator 2, they jumped it off a bridge. I think it was a 90 or 91, or I don't know. It was black. We all know the original Fat Boy was silver. That's not the bike I'm talking about. In the first Terminator, when Schwarzenegger was the bad guy, he rode a CB750. I think it was a K model. That had been painted, I don't know if it was stock color. It didn't look like a stock color. It was like candy apple red, and it had a bullet fairing, like a cafe racer fairing on it. And that bike stuck with me as a kid. I think that was 84 that came out. But did I make a note about that? No, I didn't say what year. It looked like a 70s CB750 with that cafe racer fairing on it. And Schwarzenegger, or a stunt double, let's be honest. Or maybe, I don't know. is riding on the highway, firing an automatic rifle from it, chasing. Like, now, for some reason, they dubbed the sound of a twin over it. Probably because, you know, CB750s aren't the toughest sounding bike. I used to have one. I had a 74. But the reason I left it on this list is mine was a bone stock restored CB750, and this is like heavily customized, very cool looking. And it must have been when Schwarzenegger was smaller too, because he doesn't look giant on it. But yeah, like a very, very cool bike. And the last one I thought of as I started this video, and it's kind of a tribute to Captain America, which is why it makes it interesting, but the Panhead in Ghost Rider, the Nick Cage one. Very Captain America, but all the things I don't like removed. You know, it's a 60 skinny chop, high sissy bar, but not that high. Same rake, same probably 8 over front end, maybe something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the Panhead that he inherits from his dad in the movie, like the bike actually rides, the bike then transforms into the crazy flaming one. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the actual Panhead chop that he rode. That bike's amazing. I think it's in one of the Hollywood museums or something like that. But I'll put pictures. That bike is freaking amazing. That's a cool bike. But anyway, that's my list. I can only come up with 6 because I don't want to do the obvious ones and this, that, and the other. What do you think? What are yours? Let me know. I'm really interested and want to see. Let's have a conversation, chat about this. Might do a live sometime soon and we can talk about it. But I hope you're ready for a good Halloween. I know we are. We're going to have a blast this week. Maybe we'll go live that night as we drive around on the golf cart. Let's be honest, making fools of ourselves and having a cocktail or 26. But, you know, anyway, there it is. Favorite movie, motorcycles. Love you all to death. Take care of each other. We'll talk real soon. Bye.